Claes Oldenburg, a not-so-small production presented by Claire Anderson. Finding art everywhere. Claes Oldenburg had a hope to see art in everything around him. This is what I love so much about his work, is because it takes the subject matter, which is just everyday objects, a bag of fries, a dustpan, bowling pins, and it creates something unexpected. So he's taking something expected and making it unexpected through the use of scale, gravitational form, color, and even movement. Playing with scale. This is a project that I think shows his use of scale so beautifully. He's using the museum, as you can see at the top picture, as the net, right? He's using these large scale objects in scale and proportion to one another. So Claes and his wife, Kosha, whom he married in 1977, worked in collaboration to scaling these shuttlecocks. He was known for his using space to complement his compositions and his design. As you can see in the shuttlecock's relation to the museum and their incorporation with their surroundings. And it's not just a shuttlecock, it's a headdress, it's a basketball net, it's these feathers that Claes and Kosha have combined to create something greater and something unexpected out of these almost humble and simple materials. Soft sculptures. So this was a project and an early movement in the work of Claes Oldenburg before he married Kosha van Bruggen in 1977. These works of art, while being large in scale, are not quite as scaled as his later works would be. But this is a good opening position to see how his work would evolve and how it grows. Something I love about these soft sculptures is the materials used. He uses vinyl and he creates this almost limp-like sculpture, and he relies on gravity to create the form for many of his soft sculptures, right? You see these cigarette butts kind of falling off of this platform as gravity would have them do. And he would experiment with how everyday objects were seen, how they interacted with gravity, how they would kind of stay in this state of movement. And he would challenge these conceptions as well as the conceptions of traditional sculpture materials. He's moving to vinyl rather than wood or metal, which is super interesting to me. And it's super innovative. These are groundbreaking for his time, right? His collaboration. This is something that sets him apart from the other artists and is so intriguing to me, is his collaboration. Because for me personally, his collaboration with his wife, Kosha van Bruggen, actually makes his artworks even more monumental, even better for me. And I actually have come to love his installations with collaboration with his wife Kosha over his soft sculptures and over his earlier sketches. So they would collaborate on a lot of projects, for example, Spoon and Cherry, or also known as Spoon Bridge and Cherry, and it is a large-scale installation of a spoon curving up to see a cherry resting at the tip of the spoon. It weighs 7,000 pounds, which is very large and is very monumental. And that is just going to show that this everyday spoon and this cherry can become something so monumental and something so large scale. It was built in 1988 by Claes Oldenburg and Kosha van Bruggen, and it resides in the Minneapolis Sculpture Garden. It serves as a water feature, displaying a bright red cherry at the top, shows how form, gravity, and an everyday object can create something monumental just with the play of color saturation. This silver, almost white spoon in contrast with this bright red cherry. And the scale, as you can see at the top picture, this is a maintenance worker working at where the stem and the cherry meet, and that just shows how large this sculpture really is. It takes a lot of maintenance, and that's something that kind of moves into Claes Oldenburg later works, where he does create these installations, and they have to be repainted, refinished, but they are such a monument, and they stand as such a symbol of culture and of his work, really. So Claes Oldenburg, as a developing artist, so he was an immigrant moving to New York from Sweden, and this is where he was um, influenced by a lot of street life, a lot of street art, and that's kind of what laid the groundwork for his later career. Pop art. He engaged with a lot of pop art in one of his earlier jobs of painting small replicas of food and other consumer products. Later, his marriage to Kosha and his collaboration would bring larger scale projects. And she was an art historian, and so this would bring another sense of analysis and historical influence into their work. As you can see in this dropped bowl with scattered slices and peels, I feel like it does a really good job showing that kind of pop art influence with the saturated colors, as well as that kind of curvilinear, and even the effect of gravity, right? You see this peel and it's kind of curving over as it's been almost snapshotted as gravity is taking its toll on it. And I love their work because it's so juxtaposing between something so expected, this apple, right? These apple slices that you typically eat, and then the peel, which you typically throw away, and kind of playing with that in an unexpected scale, in an unexpected curve, in an unexpected location. And I think that is what really makes Claes Oldenburg a very interesting artist, is his interpretation of the everyday and his inspiration from the everyday, as well as his collaboration and his ability to collaborate and make something even better. These are my sources that I used, and thank you.